So for many years, people have been asking Microsoft to release a smaller and more affordable Surface Pro. Well, they finally obliged, and today we're going to review the Surface Go. Does a 10-inch Surface really make sense? What about battery performance? Can it actually be any good? Today I'll tell you in my full review. Stay tuned. So here's an idea. Take the popular Microsoft Surface Pro and shrink it down to a 10-inch device. That's essentially the Surface Go. But with that change comes a couple of questions. For one, is the battery life any good? Two, what about the processor? Surface 3 notoriously underperformed and it really ruined that device for many. And number three, what other compromises are there with a 10-inch Surface? Well, today I'm happy to tell you that the Surface Go has actually exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect such a good device from Microsoft. But if you want to know the reasons why and how I reached this conclusion, well, we're going to deep dive into the specifications and features. Taking a closer look at the Surface Go's design, you can see Microsoft has really honed their skills on this device. They have rounded the edges a little bit more compared to the Surface Pro. That makes it easier, just a little bit nicer to hold in the hand. It looks really, really good. You do have a bold line here for the antenna and Wi-Fi separation. It's not as nice and elegant as the Surface Pros, but that's part of the price point here and what you get. As far as materials used, it's an all magnesium design. It's exactly like the Surface Pro. They didn't cut any corners here. And that makes it a very light device too, just coming in over 1 pound or 1.15 pounds or 520 grams. That's without the keyboard. It gets a little heavier with the Alcantara keyboard, but not by much. This is a very, very light and small device. Looking on the right-hand side of the device, we have a Surface Connect port, so that's a change from the original Surface 3, and yes, that means you can connect this up to a Surface dock if you happen to have one. We also have a USB Type-C, that's a 3.1 that handles display, power, and data, and you can use any charger you want with that if you happen to leave your included Surface Connect charger at home. It's a really nice feature, we've had no issues with it. And above that, you have a 3.5mm headset jack. It's not at the bottom, but it is closer to the top, but it's not as close to the top as the Surface Pro, so it's actually a nice design. Below the kickstand, you also have a micro SD for expansion. You can put up to 500 gigabytes on here, although you could probably put a terabyte if you can find the card as well. Speaking of the kickstand, this is the exact same one that's found on the Surface Pro, and by that I mean it is fully articulating. As you can see here, it opens, it closes, and it goes all the way pretty much flat, which is really good if you want to draw on this device. And that's going to be a big factor because the pen on the Surface Go is really, really good. Turn to the rear device, you have an 8-megapixel autofocus camera. It works very well, it even has HDR abilities. Obviously it works better outside than indoors, but it can actually take some really nice photos. Turn to the front of the device, and as the main attraction, the display. Now, some people have lamented that the bezels are a little bit large, but they're slightly thinner than my thumb, so when I'm actually holding this device, it actually feels really good in the hand. And you will hold Surface Go more than any other tablet without compromising your grip, so I'm actually really happy with this design. Plus, you do have the two front-facing stereo speakers here etched into the glass, so you need room for that. In addition, on top here, you do have a 5-megapixel front-facing camera, and you do get Windows Hello facial recognition. You don't have Windows Hello in Surface 3, and that's a big change here. It works very well. I've had no issue with it. Looking at the display itself, it's a true 10-inch, 1200 by 1800 resolution. That's 216 pixels per inch, and it's a really beautiful display. In terms of color accuracy, we received 99% sRGB, or 76% Adobe RGB, and over 430 nits of brightness when set to max. It's one of the most impressive Surface displays we have seen on any of their mobile devices, and in fact, it actually exceeds the Surface Pro, Surface Laptop, and even Surface Book in terms of color accuracy. Taking a closer look at the keyboard, which is not included, it's $130 extra for the Alcantara. There is a $99 version for a non-Alcantara as well. This is a very good keyboard. You have chiclet style. It looks very much like the current Surface Pros, except it is smaller. Now, you do have backlighting on this, which is really nice, and the keys have been updated to reflect the modern design, including dedicated keys for brightness and volume, which is really good. Looking at the trackpad, and it is monstrous. In fact, this is the same size trackpad as you get with the Surface Pro. And it's really nice because this device, you're primarily going to use for typing, but also for navigation, and you really want a nice trackpad. It is precision, it supports 3- and 4-finger tap. Really excellent, feels great, it's smooth, I have no complaints. I also like the fact you do have room here for your palms to rest on, super important when typing. Some bonus content here. This is the Surface mobile mouse. It does not come with the Surface Go, but it's a very affordable $34, and it's a really nice travel mouse compared to the Surface mouse, not the Surface mobile mouse. You can see it has a smaller hump, and that makes it easier to fit in your bag. This is a standard Bluetooth mouse, and it's actually really nice. This is better for people who like to lay their hand on a device with just their fingers versus claw users. This mouse also comes in various colors to match the keyboard, so if you're looking for an affordable mouse to take with you, the Surface mobile mouse is a good choice. Let's talk a little bit about the Surface Pen, not included in the box either, though you can pick one up in various colors between $89 and $99. It's a really good pen. You can attach it to the side with magnets, and those magnets are super strong. I can drag the whole device, look at this, it won't come off, there it goes. So this pen will definitely stick with the Surface Go in your bag. It is possible to get knocked off, but this is one of the best magnets I've seen from them. Really elegant design. Now, in terms of features, this pen supports 4,096 levels of pressure. To put in that perspective, the Surface 3, just from 3 years ago, only supported 256 levels, which goes to show you how far we've come. This also does support tilt, which is, again, an advanced feature only Surface Pro has supported up to this point. Overall, though, I really enjoy using this pen. Compared to any other device, including the iPad 9.7, this is the best pen experience I've used. Very low latency, and it's just fun to use. I highly recommend it. When it comes to the internal specifications of the Surface Go, we're talking a Pentium 4415Y CPU. It's fixed at 1.6 gigahertz. Now, there's a lot of questions around the performance of this chip, especially compared to the Atom Cherry Trail processor used in the original Surface 3. Well, I'm happy to tell you this is a very good processor. Not only is it completely fanless, it doesn't get hot either. In fact, it maxes out about 104 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius. It also performs very well. In fact, it gets around 2,000 on Geekbench, which is double the score of the original Atom processor, and you feel it when you're using a device. This really does not have any stutter or lag. Now, I'm not saying it's like a Core i7, but this definitely falls between the Surface Pro 4's Core M3 device and, say, that Intel Atom, and it falls closer to that M3, so there's going to be some very good performance. This is further accentuated by the Intel HD 615 graphics, which again, very good scores, 16,000 on Geekbench, which doubles what was found on the original Surface 3. That means you can do some video games on this. I'm not talking about the AAA titles, but you could do a lot of good side-scroller stuff. Minecraft plays beautifully on this. This works especially well when connecting the Surface Go up to an external display and using an Xbox wireless controller with Bluetooth. It's just a blast. When it comes to RAM or storage, you have two options, including 4 gigabytes or 8, or 64 gigabytes and 128. For our review here, we're using 8 gigabytes and 128 gigs of storage, and that's a true SSD. And that SSD is really fast. In fact, it's one of the fastest SSDs we have seen Microsoft use. We're talking 1,100 megabits per second for read and over 500 megabits per second for write. That's a 10-fold increase on read speeds compared to the Surface 3, which was so slow. When you combine that really fast SSD, those really good graphics, and the performance of the Pentium, which does not throttle either. We maxed it out at 100% using Intel XTU for 20 minutes, and it stayed at 1.6 gigahertz the entire time. You get a really good experience here, both for mobile, for playing games, media, and what else you want to do. Now, this isn't a super powerful device, but it's much more powerful and enjoyable than what the Surface 3 was. Now, when it comes to battery life, Microsoft is citing 9 hours, and usually when you hear those numbers, you can chop off a couple, so maybe 5 or 6. I'm actually happy to report I'm getting around 7 or 8 hours at least out of this device. Some of that will depend on that screen brightness. Don't forget, this thing can go very bright outdoors, but if you keep it around mid-range, yeah, you can easily get 8 hours on this device. And part of the reason for that is because this processor doesn't have turbo boost. It just runs at 1.6 gigahertz. That means it's very consistent in how it performs. One other noticeable change that a lot of Surface fans will appreciate is that Microsoft is not using the Marvell Avastar Wi-Fi chip anymore. They're using Qualcomm Atheros for the first time. Performance has been very good, and I don't have any complaints. A lot of people didn't like that Marvell chip, so it's nice to see Microsoft swap it out for the Surface Go. Okay, so let's bring it all in. The Surface Go has actually been a very good experience. I didn't have high expectations for this device, or rather, I knew it's going to be sort of a budget Surface. And after having using the Surface 3, I didn't really expect the performance to be all that good. But that Pentium processor, it's actually pretty solid. Now, it is a 7th generation processor, but that's because there's no 8th generation version out there, so Microsoft really has no choice here to use it. But that storage solution is really good. Now, we didn't get to test the 64 gigabyte version, although we will be getting that that in soon to look at as well. The 64 gig one is a little bit slower in storage. We'll test it out to see just how slower it is, and whether it actually affects performance. But if you get the 8 gigabyte 128 gig storage option, that's probably the best one. You're going to have a very good experience. Other things though on this device are pretty much perfect. The audio is very good. You have a really nice display. In fact, it's one of the best displays we've seen on a Surface in terms of color accuracy and brightness. The keyboard, let's talk about that. So it is a small keyboard and there's no way around that. This is a 10-inch device. It's super tiny. It makes you want to carry it around with you wherever you go, and that's the plus side of it. The keyboard is small, so how's typing on it? I actually did not mind. Again, I had low expectations here, but they did a very good design here on the keyboard. Yes, I go into what's called T-Rex mode. We have to bring in your arms like this. When you're at a desk though, it actually types very well. And that's kind of the point here with the Surface Go, is it allows you to bang out an email or surf the internet or go onto Facebook and use that keyboard whenever, wherever. And in that sense, it totally works. The trackpad is also good. The kickstand is really nice. I also enjoy using this device in portrait mode. And for those wondering, yes, Windows Hello works in portrait mode, so you can hold this in your hand, turn it on sideways, and it will recognize you. Little tip though, you want to use the Windows Hello feature to improve recognition. Try it in all different angles and it'll get better over time. You can do this inside, outside, at nighttime, in different angles with the Surface Go, and that will work much better. Let's talk about that Type-C port. So it's USB 3.1. That means you can use it to charge the device, display out, and data. For charging, you can plug in pretty much any Type-C charger. It doesn't need to be 24 watt. I plugged in 45, 65, and even 100 watt, and it charged my device just fine. You can also plug in external displays like this Dell display that we use in this review. It's a Type-C one. Plugged in and it worked beautifully. You can also plug in hubs or use a portable battery. Yes, that will work too, so you can charge your Surface Go on the go. There's no Thunderbolt 3 support here, and that's not really a big surprise, but in terms of accessories and peripherals, the Surface Go handled everything just fine. Finally, let's talk about pricing, who this is for. So the Surface Go starts at $399. You still need to buy the keyboard and optionally buy the pen, so that does bump up the price. Although it is competitive with the iPad 9.7-inch, but it is still a little bit more expensive than that device. This device, however, is a full PC, and it's not as good as a tablet as an iPad, but it can do much more than an iPad. If you want to see more on that, we do a comparison between this and the iPad 9.7, so check that out. Now, the version you actually want costs $550, plus you still need that keyboard, so it does get a little expensive. But in terms of value, this is a really solid option. This is one of the best Surfaces I've seen, and I'm really impressed with how with each release, the Microsoft team gets a little bit better at doing things. Everything about this device is kind of perfect from a hardware stance. Whether or not you agree that Windows 10 is enjoyable on 10 inches is a personal choice. And that's a separate issue the Surface team doesn't actually control. I don't mind it. Tablet mode, it's okay, but it works really well as a PC. As to who will benefit from this device, any student out there would really enjoy using this. It's easy, fits in your bag, it gets all-day battery life, the performance is good. So for students, this is amazing. I really like that pen. Pen just works better on a smaller device like this. I find myself using it more, even though my handwriting is still pretty awful. Business people would also enjoy it. We talked about this here often at Windows Central. This works well in meetings. If you need to go to a meeting for a couple hours, take this with you. It's great at note-taking, looking up things quickly. It's not big, it's not small, it gets the job done. Also, for those who want a secondary device and can afford it, this does work well for on the couch or just at home. If you want to watch movies or you have kids, you want them to use it, the Surface Go is a pretty solid choice. Now that may seem counterintuitive and expensive, but don't forget, a lot of people buy MacBook laptops and then have an iPad as a secondary device. Well, think of that as this here, except this is more powerful as a PC. Overall, I really like the Surface Go. Now, it's a small device, and I'm not sure I'm going to switch to it with my main computer. Some of you can. I still need something a little bit larger, but again, Microsoft exceeded my expectations with this device. The battery life is solid, the performance is good. That's really the main questions we had to answer with it, and in that sense, it gets an A+ in my opinion. And the other good thing about this release is Microsoft is sending it to 35 countries by October, 25 by the end of August 2017. That means if you actually really want the Surface Go, well, you can probably pick one up yourself. All right, so that wraps it up for the Surface Go review. Now, if you want more information about this device, make sure you hit that subscribe button, as we'll be doing a lot more video content in the coming weeks and months on this device, including comparing it to the iPad 9.7 and the original Surface 3, so you want to check that out. You can also find more information about this device in the description below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody.